This is an excerpt from part 3 of the testimony of musician, friend, and my business partner, Nehemiah Williams, where we explore what the true spiritual nature of music really is. Nehemiah brings us to the moment where the Lord called him to go deeper into his musical calling and leave everything behind to pursue music as the vehicle to get closer to him, otherwise known as a career. This is From Work to Worship, where we explore how people's calling becomes their calling card, how vocation fuels occupation, how to work can be to worship when we understand who we were made for. So let's get to work on understanding what we were made to do. This is Nehemiah Williams, and this is From Work to Worship.
If you actively and consistently pursue whatever you can conceive to be the highest good, then you will find God, because they're the same thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
5,
and that's been my experience.
4, 3, 2.
I don't wanna die young. I don't wanna die young. But if I do, I hope I'm true. And if I leave it up to you, I hope you let some people know that I've been worked hard.
If this is your first time joining us at PPDK Productions, we want to thank you for listening and invite you to go ahead and subscribe to our Substack at ppdkproductions.com. That's ppdkproductions.com, and receive 1 free week of life-giving stories, weekly content recaps, and monthly content maps. There is nothing more tragic than a man lacking purpose. That's why we're starting with our stories, because that's what we know. Living to tell the tale is our purpose. We're doing it first, so you can too. Go to ppdkproductions.com and subscribe. If you like what we have to say but don't like how we look, and please consider making a monthly contribution so we can make our stories look beautiful. Now let's get back to Nehemiah Williams.
I was looking for a career path, like a vehicle to that life. What was going to make it come?
And the word career comes from vehicle. Like the etymology of the word career literally means a vehicle.
And I was driving a vehicle. So yeah, I was searching for that. So in a couple months after that first revelation, God spoke to me again, and he basically just suggested, hey, what if you just gave everything to music? What if you just went all in with it? And I was like, because I knew that this was the Lord speaking, that's a whole nother conversation, but because I knew it, I was like, okay, God, challenge accepted. That's how I received it, as a challenge. So I was in Independence, Missouri, and I went to the nearest guitar center. I parked the truck, went to the guitar center. I bought musical instruments, amps, everything I needed to just play music. And so while I was driving the truck, I would just sing all day long. And when I stopped the truck at the end of the day, I would just play music until I went to sleep, woke up, repeat the process. And immediately I could feel in my emotions and in my spirit that, all of the meaning in life is routed through music for me. There's no access to any kind of a meaningful life except through music. And as I looked on my life, it only became more true because music has been something that has stood out for me since I was literally a baby. My testimony of my mother telling me about the only thing that would shut me up when I was bawling baby was just turning on music. I was an easy child because she would just need to turn on the music, and I would,
Did you know that podcast you sent me where the guy said like he sees angels? He said the angels can't make new music. They can only sing what's already out there. So when humans make music, they're like flocking to them because they're like, oh, this is beautiful. We can only sing what's already made.
Right.
So they want us. They're like, make some music.
Right. Interesting. Brings whole new meaning to the term worship leader. That being said, I started to understand that this is the meaning of my life. Is music. Deeply connected. So I'm going in this direction. There's no other career path. It's music. To figure out how to do music. And so knowing that and fully accepting that I need to understand what music was. Why is music this significant thing? Why is it a universal language? Why do people, what influence does it have? You know? And so I started to write down every definition of music that I heard. Because music is actually really hard to define. What is music? Everybody's going to give you a different answer. But one definition that I really liked, is that music by nature is the sound of the spirituality, of the spirit realm. You know what I'm saying? It's like music by nature is spiritual, which is why it has such a profound effect on your emotions, because it gets underneath your emotion. It's also why if you want people to sing a melody, all you do is have to sing it around them, and then they'll just start singing it naturally, you know? Especially if they know the song and they like it too. It resonates with them, so they start singing it too. It's called an earworm. What I learned is that if you want to implant a message or a seed, an idea in somebody's mind, just add some music to it. It's part of the reason why a melody to any fact, you need to memorize it, immediately memorize it way faster than you ever would have by repeating it over and over again, or whatever technique of memorization. Just make music out of it.
The jingles are propaganda, which comes from propagate, to propagate an idea.
And so one of the superpowers of music is I can put anything inside your soul if I just good music that resonates with you. I can put any message in your soul, because music doesn't speak to the mind. It doesn't speak to the heart alone. It speaks to the spirit first before everything else, which is why it resonates with your whole being. It's why whenever music is playing, you attach nodes to like track people's brain signature or the colors, or, you know, what parts of their brains are being lit up. The whole thing, it lights up your whole mind. It's because music is so deeply spiritual that it resonates with people's whole being right away.
You can actually trigger people with Alzheimer's to retrieve memories through music. So you literally put their long-term memory back online by tying it to music.
Yeah.
And so it's in our deepest recesses of our memory and the storytelling. And that's why movies are set to music. Yeah.
That's why literally music almost controls time as it relates to you, because time is relative, right? Music literally controls time as it is relative to you, because if you play a 20-second clip, no music, that 20 seconds is a long freaking time to you. But you put some music to it, it doesn't even matter what it is. It takes 20 seconds and it literally minimizes it by probably 30-40%. It seems like 12 seconds because of the music. It just goes by. You're just so raptured in the scene with the music that it literally minimizes time. It shrinks time. Like, I saw Wicked the other day. Wicked is a dang near 3-hour movie. That movie went by in an instant because there's music, there's songs all throughout. And this is true with almost every movie, because every movie has like backtracking and a soundtrack.
It's almost like you can layer experience in all 5 levels with a song. And that's why you
trigger it too.
Package. Yeah, you can. It's like oh my God. It's
you
like
can send people to a moment.
It's a compressed zip file of 5 layers, 5 different compressed files, audio, visual, everything. It's compressed into a song, a 3-minute clip. Send it to you. You watch it. You listen to it. Bam. It unzips everything, and you experience that moment in all real time. I wrote that Christmas song with my uncle. We collaborate on it. We sort of have ideas, but it's got many, many different stories layered on top of each other, set to music. I did not know that I was inserting my story, the prodigal son, Tom's story, other people's stories. It just flowed out of it. And then you share that with someone, they go, oh, this is like my life. And it's so many things just layered on top of each other. Yeah. I saw a movie. It's being executive produced by Joe Coy and produced and written by Ariana Bosco and the people from Palms Up Academy and Recess, Mike. And it's brilliant, but it took an entire open mic set and all the songs and pieces from them, and it layered them onto one person's story. And so each performer is like entering into the story of this person's life and playing different characters, using their storytelling and their pieces on top of it. And it's exactly what it feels like when you're listening to different things, because you insert your story onto there, you map it onto theirs. It was remarkable.
So music is a superpower. I'm convinced it's a superpower. You can control culture with, which is why the enemy loves music. Yeah, like people talk about Satan's original mission, how deeply musical it was, and how Satan used music to corrupt a third of the angels. And then they became fallen along with him. It was music that he used to warp those spiritual beings and turn them into his puppets. And so, this is the power of music. But there's a lot of music in the world. And so, all that being said, I started to understand the significance of my gifting. I started to see it from a different perspective.
We love telling stories in person, and we're doing that live on stage in front of a crowd in my living room in Culver City on February 1st. We're taping a show called In Pursuit of Awe. The story of two exceptionally gifted yet exceptionally sensitive men seeking to live a life well lived. Hear the personal testimonies of Nathanael Philip Abad Mosier and Nehemiah Williams as they navigate through thick and thin, seeking God along the way, performing music, poetry, jokes, and stories. Find out more at ppdkproductions.com about what we're up to, and get your tickets at our website and click on the tab Live Shows. If you want to see what it looks like to attend a live taping inside a living room in Culver City, go watch our series, Nathanael Philip Mosier Has Friends, also on our website, ppdkproductions.com. That's ppdkproductions.com.
Next week on From Work to Worship, Nehemiah flips the script and receives Nathanael's testimony, investigating the ways in which the Lord imbued Nathanael with the gifts of provoking laughter and insight within the warm walls of a story. Find out how we continue to fight and overcome on next week's episode of From Work to Worship. Pick up the call, take up your sword, and go on the adventure of a lifetime. This has been a PPDK Productions original. Follow us as we climb the tallest mountains, slay the fiercest dragons, and pursue the highest good while confronting the greatest evil we've ever known. Join us at ppdkproductions.com. Press play on your purpose.
Press play
On your purpose.